The Jacksonville Jaguars just got blown out on Monday Night Football 47-10, and after so many years of attempting to build around Trevor Lawrence, hire Doug Peterson, it seems that there are going to be massive changes coming to Jacksonville. Hi everyone, this is Spectator Sports. I'm your host Sebastian Fonseca, and today we're going to look into the collapse of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Rewind to 2021, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, ready to draft Trevor Lawrence to be their franchise quarterback, as they've been a franchise struggling to gain some traction in the NFL since joining the league in 1996 as an expansion franchise. This team has gone through ups and downs. In fact, in their second year under head coach Tom Coughlin, they were able to get to the AFC Championship game, but fell short. And since then, it's been up and down, up and down. They had the amazing run into the AFC Championship game about 7 years ago with Jalen Ramsey, that vaunted defense, but fell short. And with Blake Bortles and so many other quarterbacks, they just haven't been able to find one. But thanks to a little favor from the New York Jets, who won a couple games after starting the season 0-13 in 2021, they were able to steal the number 1 overall pick from the New York Jets, and then they were able to claim the rights to draft Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a generational talent, as they say, from the University of Clemson. He had a famous victory against the Alabama Crimson Tide in 2019, where he totally tore up this Crimson Tide defense led by Nick Saban, and also opposite of Tua Tagovailoa. Now, fast forward a few years later, he's come into the NFL as the top-rated prospect, and he's looking good on tape, and pretty slam dunk decision to take him number 1 overall. And the Jacksonville Jaguars have a new regime with Urban Meyer, the former Ohio State head coach who's won a couple national championships, also with the University of Florida, and also Trent Baalke, who is the architect behind the San Francisco 49ers return to Super Bowl 47 under head coach Jim Harbaugh. But there was a power struggle there, and the two couldn't get along. Jim Harbaugh chose to leave, and Trent Baalke oversaw the rest of the franchise until their unfortunate turn to rebuild, and he was promptly fired. It didn't get off to the best of starts for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence was not at his best and struggled to find his form under head coach Urban Meyer. And after so many incidences of lack of professionalism, there was an incident after a Thursday night loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Urban Meyer decided to hang back in his old hometown of Columbus, where he had bars and was a household name. He had some side things going on with females that weren't his wife, big controversy, and just negative, unnecessary distractions for the Jacksonville Jaguars as Trevor Lawrence is trying to navigate in this NFL. And promptly fired, and that started another rebuild, a rookie year of turmoil, and we can definitely think about that being a throwout year. And looking into the process, Shahid Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, was looking for a coach to nurture and help Trevor Lawrence develop into the franchise quarterback, the superstar that he was looking like when his days from Clemson in college. Now, in year 2, under head coach Doug Peterson, they brought him in, the former Philadelphia Eagles head coach, who took a year away from coaching but was looking for another head coaching gig. After looking around for other candidates, it was pretty clear that Doug Peterson was the leader of this Jacksonville Jaguars job, and they hired him in the 2022 offseason, and they also gained the top overall pick yet again. Now, this is when things started to kind of fall off the rails, at least from the front office perspective, because as the top overall pick, it's pretty clear coming to that draft that many people were projecting Aiden Hutchinson, the standout pass rusher from the University of Michigan. Many people, including Doug Peterson and other executives in the Jacksonville Jaguars camp, were saying that they wanted him. But Unfortunately, Trent Baalke really wanted Trayvon Walker from the University of Georgia. Now, that Georgia defense was historic. They were one of the best ever in NCAA history, but it was a group of people, not just a singular person being part of that anchor of the defense. After an early power struggle in this new regime, post Urban Meyer, Trent Baalke got his way. They picked Walker, top pick overall, and Detroit snagged him with the number 2 overall pick with Aiden Hutchinson. Fast forward to a few years later, it's pretty clear that Aiden Hutchinson has had the better career. He's gotten off to a better start and is already looking like the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year in 2024. Trayvon Walker has had a decent sophomore campaign, but much remains to be seen, and we haven't seen the production so far compared to Aiden Hutchinson. Now, Doug Peterson was taking on a franchise muddled with controversy, and it wasn't off to the best starts in 2022. In fact, the Tennessee Titans had a 3-game lead heading into the final weeks of the regular season, but the wheels totally came off thanks to multiple injuries, starting off with Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback. Malik Willis wasn't ready to play in the NFL, and they ended up signing a 3rd-string quarterback to play in a one-off game to have the right to win the AFC South title. And in this process, this is when the Jacksonville Jaguars caught fire. They were able to win numerous games late, including an amazing overtime victory against the Dallas Cowboys, and en route winning the AFC title and hosting a home playoff game in the 2022 NFL playoffs. Looking at who they were playing against, it was the LA Chargers led by Brandon Staley, and we've covered Brandon Staley a few times in this podcast, where he has been a coach that has been able to totally derail the LA Chargers, and quite again, we saw that happen in this wildcard game where they got off to an amazing 27-0 start, but as slowly but surely the Jags offense caught fire, the defense got some stops, and the Jaguars escaped with a win at home, beating the LA Chargers and ousting Justin Herbert in a duel of young, up-and-coming quarterbacks in the AFC. In the next round against the Kansas City Chiefs, they gave the Chiefs a good run for their money, even banged up Patrick Mahomes, and this was a huge opportunity for the Jags to upset the Chiefs and also get to the AFC Championship game. Things didn't work out in their favor, but it was still a year to build on. Not too many people after the awful year in year 1 under Trevor Lawrence as the starting quarterback did they think that he would make this sophomore leap to becoming one of the better quarterbacks in this conference. 2023, the vibes are good. You signed Calvin Ridley after a year off from suspension due to gambling issues, and he's had a pretty good career with Atlanta, but missed the 2022 season, but he's back in 2023. You have Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne, his college running back from Clemson, and this loaded offense was primed to take off. Now, again, a rocky start, but eventually was able to solidify some momentum, have an 8-3 record going into a Monday night game against the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow. Unfortunately, they picked up nasty injuries to Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence, and that's when the wheels completely fall off. They lose that game against Cincinnati and only win one of their final few games in the regular season, bow out of the playoff race, and simultaneously you're seeing CJ Stroud ascend as an up-and-coming rising superstar for the division rival Houston Texans. Since then, it's been one of the biggest collapses in recent NFL history, and the Jaguars in that opportunity, if they won that Monday night matchup, they would have been the AFC's top seed with only 5 games left in the regular season. This year, again, they're trying to redeem themselves, maybe not win this division, but definitely the wild card race is wide open. And you get off to an amazing start against the Miami Dolphins week 1, and you're up 17-7. Travis Etienne is streaking towards the end zone, but unfortunately, Dolphin safety Javon Holland knocks the ball out at the 1-yard line. The ball gets recovered in the end zone for a touchback, and that's when the collapse happened. Immediately, the first play from scrimmage, Tua launches a ball to Tyreek Hill, 80-yard bomb, touchdown. And the comeback is on. Jacksonville loses their week 1 matchup against the Miami Dolphins, and since then, they have failed to win a game. Week 2, they played the Cleveland Browns against a quarterback that has lost total confidence, and they could not protect Trevor Lawrence in this game. Lose 18-13, drop to 0-2, and then, like I said, in Week 3, utterly humiliated against the Buffalo Bills. And now you're looking at how has this happened? Well, you got to look at the roster. Think about the moves that Trent Baalke has made, like I said, starting off from 2022, the draft. Some questionable moves, definitely some decent moves with free agency, but I think with what they've been able to do with the draft, definitely very questionable outside of drafting Trevor Lawrence. And then you have the coaching, where Doug Peterson was hired to develop Trevor Lawrence, and we've still seen some very stupid turnovers. He's led the league in turnovers since entering the league in 2021. So many fumbles, untimely interceptions, and then last night's and on Monday night against the Buffalo Bills, there was just so many errant throws. You could see that on a national audience that something is wrong with Trevor Lawrence. Coming into this season, Shahid Khan, the owner, was saying that this could be one of their best years ever, and it's been a season full of nightmares to start. They're 0-3, and right now it's not looking so good for the Jacksonville Jaguars, unfortunately. They are currently winless, and honestly, they look completely doomed. And right now, Doug Peterson's on the hot seat. Unless things change soon, this could be his undoing and his eventual firing from the Jacksonville Jaguars.